All right, for today's video review, we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Hunt for the Decepticons SEASPRAY, a pretty cool figure here. If you're unfamiliar with Hunt for the Decepticons, it was one of those 2010 sublines that was like kinda part of Revenge of the Fallen, kinda its own thing, but it had a lot of pretty cool figures in it. And yeah, SeaSpray is a neat updated version. At this time, we had not really gotten any sort of update of like G1 SeaSpray, so a lot of people kind of use this as their SeaSpray in their collection for a while, myself included. Now that we've got like the was it Titan's Return? I can never remember if that guy's Titan's Return or Power of the Primes. I'm happy with that as my G1 SeaSpray, and I usually have this guy on my shelf just like as a different character. I put him in with the Wreckers, kind of as an homage to SeaSpray being a Wrecker in the Align continuity. But because I've got him on my shelf as a different character, I did like use stickers to cover up all the bits on his body where it actually says his name, SeaSpray. I don't really remember where they all came from. I think that these gold stickers are from like an Arms Micron kit, and these were from something completely non-Transformer related. But either way, he's a pretty cool figure. Now, he is also designed to interact with Breacher, a Scout class figure from Hunt for the Decepticon. That's Hunt for the Decepticons that kind of like sits in the like back section here, which I don't have, so I can't really show that off. But yeah, worth mentioning. But yeah, otherwise pretty good little hovercraft mode. Obviously, it is implied to be quite large with the the windshields being this size, and like a basically Breacher turned into like a like an APC or something like that, one of those like military vehicles. So you'd have to be quite big to carry him, but otherwise it's a pretty good little hovercraft mode. Mine is missing one of the little rolly wheels, but other than that, rolls pretty nicely. He did come with two of these missiles. I cannot for the life of me find my second one. I'm sure I had it at one point, but they can just plug into these guns here and give kind of like a water blast, I guess it's kind of implied to be, and it still works pretty well. And then the guns can just store on the side here, which I feel like looks fairly unobtrusive just because of the shape of them. So that's personally where I choose to keep them. Also, I think that these ladder pieces, even though they're painted silver, I think these are designed to work with that like 3mm clip system that they had at the time, so you can kind of clip stuff on there. Again, it's a little weird that they would paint those silver and have those be the clip points, but whatever. But yeah, in terms of comparisons in this mode, here he is with Kingdom Sideswipe. Obviously, with his implied scale, he's much too small compared to him, but they still kind of look good together. And then here he is with Titan's Return SeaSpray, so you can see what he looks like with a G1 style SeaSpray. I hope we get a new like deluxe version soon. I think that there was one on the listings for like the same line that they're doing, that like the new actually yellow version of the Netflix mold of Bumblebee, the kind of like toy colors inspired series. I think that there was like a leak that they're doing a SeaSpray in that. So I don't know if it's just like, oh well, yeah, the G1 toy SeaSpray was close enough to the cartoon model that they're just putting him in there, or what. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. But that would be pretty exciting. But yeah, I guess if you want, you could store him in there. I feel like he fits fairly well as like a father and son type thing. But yeah, no, pretty good hovercraft mode. In terms of transformation, first thing we want to start with is you want to take this section here and just fold it to the inside just like that. Then you want to take this entire front section, and it can be a little bit difficult to get going, but basically you want to split it down the middle here, and then also kind of like unlock these sections from the side here. So you can take this whole section and kind of just accordion it out. These end up being the legs in robot mode, so you're kind of working with the hip joints there. And then you want to take this section of the whole like tube here, and then just rotate it around like this on that angled cut, so it kind of repositions the lower leg there. And then you kind of go under here. You don't have to flip these out if you don't want to, but he does have these little like flippers. I think his feet look cool either way, but it's a lot easier to flip those out now than after you have the heel flipped out. But then you want to flip that section out. So just do that on both sides, and you want to take this whole section, and you kind of have to adjust the hip ratchet so it'll swing around like this, and then kind of soft lock into place there, and then you can rotate the legs forward just like that, and there we have his legs all done. Then what do we want to do? We want to take this entire back section, you kind of bring it down like this so you can untab these panels, which will be the arms there, and you can bring this out to the side, and then you can take this whole section. It will unlock from the top here to reveal the head. Kind of bring these down and take these panels and just fold them onto the back of the shoulders there, just like that. You want to take the forearms, and they will kind of like double hinge down and lock into place just so his arms are a little bit straighter. And then you take these panels that the guns are on and just fold them to the back of his arms, and then rotate his arms forward. And then last but not least, we just have the backpack here. You want to take the like propeller sections here, rotate them around like this, and then rotate them up like this. Take these sections and rotate them onto the back just like this, and then this whole section will double hinge, and you do want to be kind of careful with this because these if you like get the double hinge wrong, these sections could crack, so just be kind of careful with it. But I want to rotate that around so that this tab here goes into that slot just like that. And then notionally, this is supposed to plug in there, which also helps lock in the waist. I find that it's, it can kind of, that connection can come undone kind of easily, especially because like the shoulders will like bump into things and knock that section out. But yeah, there we have SEASPRAY in his robot mode. And yeah, he looks really cool. I really, really like this design. Obviously, it's not very like G1 sort of accurate, but it's a lot less, like made out of knives than a lot of the movie designs. Like I like how he's got the kind of like scuba mask here, which looks really cool. I love how this kind of ends up on his back, and then these sections of the tube kind of become like an oxygen tank. I just think that's super cool. I like how you can leave the guns on the arms and they just end up underslung there rather than having to be a part that you take off. I like the whole touch of the flippers, and like I said, you can leave those in if you think that's a little bit corny, which understandable, honestly. And that's what he looks like without it, which also looks fine. But yeah, no, I like them with the flippers, but it does, you can do that either way. They're not like necessary parts if you don't like them. But yeah, in terms of articulation, he's fairly decent here. His head is on a swivel, and then he also has a separate hinge so he can kind of look up, which is nice. So you can do kind of like swimming poses there. The shoulders are on like a little soft ratchet here where you rotate them around. They can also go out to the side using, a variety of these hinges here. To accomplish that, which can get a little bit stuck sometimes. He's got that bicep swivel for transformation. Just using the single elbow bend, he gets a pretty deep curl there because it kind of like comes out of the arm. It's a little bit weirdly shaped, but it works. He does have a wrist swivel, although it is kind of like locked up by these panels, so you can't like rotate it all the way around. Nothing at the waist because of how it transforms. Hips can go forward on those nice ratchets and back, and out to the side, weirdly only about that far. There's actually like a stopper here in the in the ratchet for whatever reason. He's got a thigh swivel, about 90 degrees of bend at the knee there. He kind of has like a sculpted chicken leg, but it doesn't actually like joint like a chicken leg. Like his knee is just here, and that's that. This is all his shin, unless you want to like use this joint, but I feel like that looks pretty weird. And then his ankles can tilt like that, and they can also tilt forward and back as well. Not so much forward, but definitely back, which is nice. So you can have him do like the like flipper pose there when he's swimming along, which is pretty cool. So yeah, pretty decent articulation. The ankles are like have loosened up a little bit over time, so they can be a little bit fiddly to like get him standing properly, but honestly it's not too bad. And then also the shoulders, like they've got the proper joints, but they do have a tendency to like bump into the backpack and to the corners of the body here, so they can be a little bit annoying as well. But other than that, he's got pretty decent articulation. In terms of his weapons, obviously you could leave him on like this and just have him like underslung them if you want and plug in the missiles like that. That works perfectly fine. You can also remove them and have him hold them as guns, which also works, though they do kind of bump into this panel here, so it's not like a perfect connection, but he holds them decently well. But yeah, no, not really a whole lot else to say about him. He's just like a very cool figure. In terms of comparisons in this mode, here he is again with Kingdom Sideswipe, just so you can see what he looks like with an average size deluxe. Obviously a bit bigger there, being a Voyager. And then here he is with Titan's Return SEASPRAY. So you can see, like generally he's got the colors of SEASPRAY, but not really like the G1 design. But that was kind of to be expected of movie figures. And he looks a lot more just sort of like I don't know, like an updated new version of SEASPRAY a lot more than a lot of the movie figures do, just because he doesn't really have like that, full on movie aesthetic, which honestly is something that I very much appreciate about him. But yeah, no, he's a really cool figure. Like I said, I tend to consider him a different character in my collection. Maybe Deep Dive is the camo repaint of this guy, so I use that name just so I have him in with my records, because he's just a really fun figure, and he doesn't necessarily need to be SEASPRAY. And then we've got that version of like a hovercraft character in the records, but that's just kind of how I have him in my own collection. That's just mostly a me thing. But yeah, no, really fun figure, fun, neat transformation. Looks good in both modes and pretty decently articulated. And honestly, he's aged pretty well. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to him. If you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And without further ado, here we have Transformers Hunt for the Decepticons SEASPRAY.